3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
All right, welcome to Roots of Reality. I'm your host, Ben Baumann, and today I'm going to be talking about the history of invasions. So throughout the history of our species, one common reoccurring theme about humanity has been violence. To put it bluntly, we have been literally killing each other for thousands and thousands of years due to this never-ending human thirst for conquest and destruction of our enemies. As a result, countless people have died due to invasions by outsiders seeking to control more territory that belongs to someone else. For instance, today we are all well aware of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which happened in 2022, which has now reached its one-year anniversary. And of course, Russia has also hinted at looking beyond Ukraine, at other former Soviet states to try and conquer as well. Additionally, China has threatened to invade Taiwan on numerous occasions. And lastly, there's also another potential future invasion that could occur in the foreseeable future. For example, if we shift our focus to the Caucasus in West Asia, there is the ongoing conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, where a small territory of land which is inhabited by Armenians, but internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, has led to worries that the Armenian population there could be forcibly removed. Additionally, the dictator of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, has in the past made comments about Armenia that are reminiscent of what dictator from Russia, Vladimir Putin, has said about Ukraine. For example, Aliyev has stated in the past that Armenia is a country of no value, is not even a real country or a colony, and is not even worthy of being a servant. On top of this, he also promotes pseudo-historical claims, like the capital of Armenia, Yerevan, is historically part of Azerbaijan and should go back to Azerbaijan. So you can see how this could be dropping clues about his intention of wanting to conquer Armenia if he thought it was possible. And when it comes to the history of Armenia, in reality, Armenia has actually existed for thousands of years as a nation, and Yerevan was even part of ancient Armenia. Meanwhile, Azerbaijan actually never existed until 1918. So these types of remarks are the types of crazy statements that can lead to future invasions by these sort of unhinged dictators that are surrounded by lots of yes men that tell them exactly what they want to hear and help them believe their own lies. And as a result, can lead to situations like what is happening with Ukraine and Russia. In turn, the potential for invasions are always there. So now thinking historically, going beyond our modern world today, one common problem that many people seem to have when it comes to understanding the history of invasions is that many people ignore the complexity of history and only focus on recent historical events, like the last few hundred years, when it comes to invasions, for example. Obviously, that means people think about the colonization and invasion of various tribes by European empires, which would occur around the world in Asia, Africa, and the Americas. For instance, some people may think about, how the Aztecs would be conquered by the Spanish, or how the Indian subcontinent would be conquered by the British Empire, or how the various tribes in North America would be conquered by European colonists, and later the United States. And these are all important parts of human history. But world history is also much deeper than what European empires did. And to fully understand just how ingrained into human society violence has been and continues to be, is to show how universal it is for a society to invade another. So therefore, we have to understand that prior to the era of colonization, and even during the era of colonization, there were societies outside of Europe that were conquering each other before the age of European empires came. So just to give a brief example of the diversity of invasions historically around the world, I will now list some of the invasions that took place in different parts of the globe. For example, 2,300 years ago, In India, the Mauryan Empire would conquer the Nanda Empire. In the 600s, the Islamic Rashidun Caliphate would conquer the Sasanian Empire in the Middle East. In 1470, the Inca Empire would conquer the Chimu in South America. And then in the 1600s, the Native American tribe, the Iroquois Confederacy, would invade and destroy and take control over the territory of the Huron Confederacy in North America. In the late 1700s and early 1800s, the Hawaiian king Kamehameha the Great would invade and take over all of the Hawaiian tribes and become the king of Hawaii. And lastly, in the 1800s, in southern Africa, the chief of the Zulu tribe, Shaka, would conquer several other tribes in the region. And on top of all this, before the colonial European empires would form, there were different empires that were conquering the peoples of Europe. Obviously, there were the ancient European empires, like the Macedonian Empire created by the Macedonian Emperor Alexander the Great, and the Roman Empire based out of modern Italy, which would conquer the various tribes across Europe, like the Gauls. But also there are empires outside of Europe that came and conquered Europeans as well. For instance, the Islamic Umayyad Caliphate would conquer what is modern Spain in the 700s. The Mongol Empire would invade in the 1200s, led by Genghis Khan, and would go across Europe and take over so much territory that would be one of the largest empires in world history. And then, of course, there's the Ottoman conquest of the Byzantine Empire in 1453, which would spell the end of the Roman Empire's legacy in what was the remnant of the Roman Empire and its eastern half, the Byzantine Empire. So all in all, it's really important that if we want to truly understand the history of invasions or conquests that have happened over time historically, that we embrace the fact that history is more than the last few hundred years, is actually quite diverse in terms of who did what at different points in time. Additionally, this tendency to focus on a European-centric understanding of the world doesn't really do justice to the powerful empires and their influence on the world prior to European colonization. Because Asia, the Americas, Africa, and the Middle East have long histories of these incredibly interesting empires that were very powerful at one point in time, and these are all important parts to fully understanding the history of human warfare and the human story. So obviously, granted, when it comes to modern relevance, much of the world today has been shaped by European colonization and the European empire's conquest of people around the world. However, the European colonization and age of empires was really just a continuation of what has been going on thousands of years by empires all over the globe, no matter their ethnicity, religion, or whatever. Because societies all over the world have been guilty of conquering each other, enslaving each other, and killing each other, all for territorial conquest. And that's just the unfortunate fact of human history. So hopefully with conflicts today, like what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and the potential for future conflicts between China and Taiwan or Armenia and Azerbaijan, hopefully, despite our history, we can move forward and try to build a world where conquering isn't allowed to happen anymore. And that's why it's so crucial that Ukraine stays independent of Russia, as well as Taiwan stays independent of China, and Armenia stays independent of Azerbaijan. If we live in a world where conquerors become emboldened, then the conquering will only continue and get worse. As always, remember, billions of years led to you, so make the most of it.